Okay, it is 4:05. We're calling the special city council meeting to order for Thursday, October 17th, 2024. Ms. Monroe, if you'd like to call the roll.
Mayor Don Barnard.
Here.
Tiffany Hollis. Here. Ryan Green.
Here.
Dave Seeland.
Here.
Jeff Barr. Wes Coble.
Here.
Audrey Seaman.
Here. Ms. Monroe, do we have any citizen comments on matters not on the agenda?
I did receive one, Marvin Block.
Mr. Block?
I see you had a live agenda. My name's Marvin Block. I live at 269 North Oregon Street in Johnstown. I had some questions. I've been hearing a lot of rumors and gossip, and I figured I'd come down here and get the truth. Number one, I heard you trying to sell the building here, and I wondered what the reason for selling the building was. Number one, and it's going to move the police department, and then they're going to buy water from Granville and run it through Alexandria. I was involved in that water line in Alexandria. You got an 8-inch line running into the city to Alexandria. Through Alexandria, you got a 6-inch line. All the water you can pull through a 6-inch line is between 500,000 and 600,000 a day. You can't get more through that than that. It's going to cost somewhere between 10 and 12 million to run that line, that water line from Alexandria, if you check your prices. That was another thing I talked about. And can somebody explain to me about the building, what's going on with that? This building here, the municipal building?
Do you want me to?
Go ahead.
Do we answer the public comments, or is this probably
We-
just have a
Submit the
public
question,
comment?
I can forward it.
If you want some, we can write in your questions down. We can get answers for them.
Thank you.
So just, I want to paraphrase. You want information on selling the building and question about buying water from Granville and running it through Alexandria, correct?
Yeah, I'm moving the police department.
Moving police. Okay.
Do we have an amount of time that he would expect an answer? Do we have like a deadline of?
How long should it take you guys?
Probably work up a statement or a response probably within the next day or so.
Okay. So by,
So I can have a verbal conversation as well. I can make a phone call,
okay,
so.
okay. So in the next couple of days.
Have you checked on the legalities of selling the building through state laws?
Yeah? Is that true, Sean?
For a sale of a building?
Yes.
If we were to sell the building,
Yeah.
we would make sure that we check with all the local, state, federal laws that are associated with any type of sale of government property, obviously.
Okay. So if you can summarize all that in your answer.
And some of these will be hanging questions.
Obviously,
Because we haven't crossed
Correct.
some of these all the way through yet.
Okay.
If you check under the high revised law, Sean, 721, before you can sell a building, it has to be declared surplus and non-usable to the building, to the city. And if you sell it, it has to go to bid, public bid, advertised for 5 weeks, and it's the highest bidder can get.
Okay.
What was the code?
Ohio Revised Law 721.
Ohio Revised Code 721, sale or lease of property
Okay.
for cities.
Any other public comment tonight, Ms. Monroe?
No.
Okay. Moving forward, public hearings and legislation, Resolution 2024-42, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Monroe Township trustees. Mr. Stainer, if you'd like to go through this, please.
Sure. This is a lease contract associated with this. And this was discussed from an action item that you all wanted to be put in place to enter into a lease agreement with the Monroe Township for the lease of the old firehouse known as 24 South Oregon Street for the relocation potentially of the police department. I'll just read the first whereas. The city of Johnstown and the Johnstown Monroe School District have undergone a joint review of the facilities and have a plan for a shared administrative offices as well as additional practice facilities for school athletics. So really, these are all kind of the culmination of the leasing. The Monroe Township trustees have their meeting on Monday. We will, if it's passed tonight, this lease would be presented to them for their consideration, and wait to hear back from what they have to say. And if they execute it, then we'll obviously be in a lease arrangement where I believe the lease would start on January 1st. The lease amounts are outlined in the lease, as well as the terms. And I can answer any other questions that you have on the lease, if that summarizes enough.
Now, I saw that you went through years 11 through 15. That was brought up in finance. Is that something we want to continue to keep in the contract?
It's an option.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no requirements.
Right.
I have a question. So does this mean that the school is sharing in the price of the lease, the monthly lease? Because the first line of the whereas, it sounds like we're sharing this lease with the school. And that's news to me, so I'm just,
No, the lease specifically defines that the lease would simply be between the city of Johnstown and Monroe Township. The whereas is kind of a highlight or a summary of some of the whys of what we're doing, answering some of those questions.
You talking about from the resolution?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a little confusing. It makes it sound
Yeah.
like that the school and the city are
No.
gonna lease the building. I see that, I mean, I'm crystal clear on the lease. I just was curious why that was on the resolution.
It just gives the foundation to the conversations we've had.
Got it. Well, I didn't know we were having shared administrative office in the old fire station. Is
No,
that not?
It would be in
what-
this building.
The shared administrative?
Yeah, it would be in this
space?
building.
Okay.
Is it worded wrong that you, it's confusing there?
I guess I thought it was just two separate issues, whether this use of this building versus the use of the fire station, and this
Gotcha.
resolution is just to pertain to the lease of the building. So I was just looking for clarification.
I think the whereas, the first paragraph is just the culmination of the conversations we've had, the plan to transition if this plan goes forward, and then, obviously, then, the lease is a totally separate deal just between the city and then
Yeah.
the Monroe, should the Monroe choose to accept.
I do find it kind of ironic that we have quiet enjoyment when it's a police station and they're going to have sirens.
We'll get there.
Does any other council member?
Sean, has anybody had a chance to go through the building yet and take a look at what type of maintenance, remodeling, replacement, and repair will need done to it?
Great question. So the chief, myself, and we had the school facility operator, I'm not sure of his technical title. We did a quick walkthrough of it probably 2-3 weeks ago, chief and myself, and I believe the sergeant, Hatfield, also went through the facility last Friday to do some just general observations. The fire chief happened to be there, and I believe the question that our chief posed to the fire chief, got a lot of chiefs, was, is everything structurally sound? Is there any issues that you're aware of? The fire chief said no, not that he was aware of. So all plumbing's intact, all the HVAC systems seem to be in some working order. So that was nice that he happened to be there. It was not planned, but happened to be there, gave us a little bit of a walkthrough of the building, what obviously they use certain things for, how different spaces were utilized. So obviously, it's not without the need for remodel. Attached is an Exhibit A with a conceptual look at what our police department would probably initially need. This is not the long-term, but this is a placeholder. Like I said, it's conceptual. We're having to move pretty quickly. So the chief worked up some drawings. He's got a couple iterations. This is the least complex of all of them. feeling like this would be a good starting point and presentation to the township trustees, that they would understand what type of things we would be doing to that building and what type of value added we would be having, and that's in the lease as well. There's up to $250,000 worth of improvements that could be done to this facility, enhancing the value of it for the township trustees, adding real value for them to have a building that's been renovated. But is that a long answer to a short question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you bet.
What is a Sally Port? That,
I will defer to the police chief.
It's a prisoner area.
okay.
Well, you got a gate that comes in after the vehicle goes in. After that gate closes, the other gate opens, so they need a prisoner in now.
Okay.
We don't have that currently, do we? No. So, yeah, so you got to bring someone in and/or potentially handoffs of warrants, anything like that. That can be a potential place to transport between one jurisdiction to another. That can be a meeting point. And also serves, if you take a look at the flow from the Sally Port into the interview room, into the officer room, it creates essentially man trap, which is what Marvin's talking about, is man trap, that in case you do have someone and something were to get out of hand, that person is contained to a certain area, that they don't have free range to the rest of the department like we currently have, right? Yep.
And this would entail you guys to have showers?
Correct. We currently don't have any locker rooms or showers or laundry facilities or anything like that. We would have that at the space.
Okay.
So the public lobby would enter from essentially a door facing the Opera House, correct?
Correct. So between the upper house and the
Then all the garage doors that are currently existing facing, would that be Oregon, other than the garage space, right?
Correct.
So check out all the,
we will probably leave the garage beds.
Yeah.
Mess with the facade of the building.
yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions on this?
I think, Wes, you kind of asked this question, but do we have an estimated cost associated with this renovation? Does anyone have?
We're currently working through that partnership with the school district. They obviously have an engineer that they're utilizing for some of their current facility planning. So we have given these over to the architects with the school district, and we anticipate having those shortly. I don't want to speak for Dr. Wagner, and if he's willing to make a comment on that, you can get further details. But we're discussing things with the chief of the fire department. Kind of gave him a figure of what we were talking about, and he seemed willing enough to say, I think you're going to be just fine with the 250 or 300. Obviously, you can phase into that depending on what you're wanting to do, but I'll let Chief Wagner, or I'm sorry, Chief Wagner, Dr. Wagner. Maybe you're a chief today, too.
Directing traffic earlier today.
What's that?
So you were directing traffic earlier today?
Well, that's whatever it takes, right? Interestingly, I just got an email from our architect, and he's going to get this to you soon, so it's in draft form, but there's going to be some options that he wants clarification, but it's based on the renderings that you gave. And the options range, and let me just say in here, he's got contingencies for like design owner fees and all too, so this is going to be a broad scope. So it runs as small as $222,000 on the low end, and if you went to the far end, about $565,000. Again, I'll get this to you. This is just in draft form, and it's just taking what you provided and using our construction team.
Okay, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Apologize for not having that earlier. We're working in.
Literally
rapid-
just, I mean, as we were sitting here, it literally just came through on my email.
Any other questions? Open it up to the public for any comments from the public on this. Hearing none. Resolution 2024-42 was the will of council.
I make a motion to pass resolution 2024-42.
I will second that.
Steve Seaman,
Yes.
Ryan Green,
No.
Tiffany Hollis,
No.
Mayor Barnard,
Yes.
Les Cobble,
Yes.
Bob Orsini.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Do we have any other business tonight? Hearing none, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Third.
Third.
All in favor?
Aye.
16 minutes.